We are coming to you from different places again. This is host Birgitte Young or B, and I got with me Mandy today, and I am so excited to have you on here. Mandy and I met the first
I,
time several years ago, and I
uh-huh.
think we had just started winging, and I was so excited to see another woman on the beach because and she was so much fun and we kind of learned together
Kind
and
of, but you surpassed me so fast.
I don't know about that. And then I was in Arizona. Let's see. Well, I was there last year, but the year before, and I went to this place that I can't even remember what the place is called. And I it wasn't Lake Mojave. It was a different
Like
place.
Pleasant? Like Pleasant.
Yes, I think so. And
Uh-huh.
I was there and I was like, well, are there usually other women here? Because I didn't see anybody. And there's like, well, there is one and she's really good. And that was you.
That's
So
hilarious.
anyway, I think it depends on who you're comparing yourself with, where you are. There's always going to be someone that's better than us
Sure.
and there's always going to be somebody that's working on something we already know. And I love that. We could just pass it down. So, who is Mandy besides winging and like, what do you
I mean,
do?
that's such a huge question. Who is
I
Mandy?
know, right?
Um,
You're a mom.
I I am definitely an adrenaline kind of girl.
Yeah.
Before I was into winging, my husband and I we used to do a lot of rock climbing together. He still rock climbs a lot. We used to ski a lot together. And before him, I used to skydive, and I was really into skydiving.
Oh,
So I went from a sport where you're like trying to stay away from wind to now a sport where I'm searching out the wind, right? Um, but I've always been into that kind of thing. I've always sort of craved excitement, kind of in my activities. Was not so interested in running long distance, which is great for you, and I respect people who do it, and I have done it at times, but it just doesn't have that. Or bouldering, like that bouldering to me is so boring. Like I need the height of rock climbing. I need the fear, a little bit of the fear, a little bit of the, so that's that for, at least sports wise, that's me. And then I'm a mom and a wife and a business owner, and that kind of encapsulates a lot of my
yeah,
life. Yeah.
right. So, what do you do? You're a business owner. So do you go to a location? You work from home?
No.
How does the life look like?
Yeah, no, we work from home. We have a small creative agency. We provide a sort of a studio. We provide editorial services, writing services to really big corporations, GE and MasterCard, and at times we've done, we've had Google and even Meta owns Facebook.
Wow.
Um, we we provide these kind of journalistic writing services, and so our writers are all over the country and in various places in the world, so everybody works from home, everybody does their thing, and it allows us to travel and spend our summer up at the sign with you and our friends up in Sherman.
In the San Francisco Bay Area, for those of you that live in other parts of the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the Sherman Island, which is
yeah,
just a magnificent place to go, and not a lot of people outside of California and the West Coast really know about it, but it is magnificent sailing.
yeah. Great. So how did you first learn about it, about wing foiling?
About winging. So this is actually kind of a cute story. I Steph and I were going to Maui for the first time together, and we had started windsurfing. Now we only started windsurfing. I want to say I was in my 50s. I was probably 50 or 51 something. And we started to windsurf, and we'd gotten what I thought was okay at it. I couldn't actually water start though. I just could not get my ankle to roll or something. I don't know. I could not water start to save my life. He could. We got to Maui, we rented gear, got to Kanaha, got to the beach, and I saw this great big swell. And I looked at him and I said, dude, like, I can get out there. But how am I gonna if I fall? How am I gonna uphaul in all the swell? Like there's no way. And I all these other people are windsurfing and kiting down further, a little bit further down, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I sat on the beach, pissed off, while my husband's out there getting his ass kicked, really. But and I see this guy. His name is Christian, and he's on Instagram as One Maui Day. It's a really nice kid from Brazil, I think. And he's sailing around on this board that is not in the water. The board is above the water. There's a stick coming out of the bottom of his board. And he's sailing around and he's holding a little kite looking thing. It's a wing, but it will look like a little kite thing to me. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I've never seen it before. And he's sailing around and there's just nothing. And he gets out of the water. He sails in. He picks up his board under one arm. And now I can see his foil sticking out. And he's holding his little bitty wing above his head. And he just pops on out of the water, glistening. He's all tan and glistening with the water.
Of
The
course.
sun shining on him and he's beautiful. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Stop. And I walk right up to him. I'm like, what is this? And where's all the gear? Like, where's the rigging? How come there's no lines? There's no uphaul. There's no downhaul. I was totally sold. As soon as Steph got out of the water, we went back over to the rental place and turned in all my windsurfing gear. And I said, I want lessons. I want to learn how to foil. Like, right now. And that's it. I
I
paid
love
for
it.
lessons and I got in the water and never have looked back. I think I've been on a windsurf one time since then, and that was 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a little similar to my story. Like it was a instant, it was love at first sight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So fun. So what are some of your favorite spots that that you visited or that you frequent? You know, I think you mentioned Sherman Island and Maui.
So Maui, I never got good at winging in Maui. I was just learning there, right? So we were there
Yeah.
for Christmas holiday, and I loved that beach there because everybody was just so nice, right?
Mhm.
And I found that to be true about everywhere I went after that. People are so inclusive and helpful and would give you great advice. I mean, I'm just sitting on this beach, getting in and out of the water, trying to learn how. And Robbie Nash just like walks up and he's like, "Yeah, you got to do this and this."
I love it.
He's teaching his daughter how to. At the time, he was teaching his daughter how to wing, and I'm like, "Holy cow!" And everybody there was so good, and everybody there had Instagram accounts, and they were just like people to watch, and they were so nice. So yeah, but I never have actually been back to Maui since I actually know what I'm doing. So I imagine it's fabulous. I mean, being in a bathing suit instead of a wetsuit sounds great to me. But I love Sherman Island because it's just the wind is great, the swell is great, the people are great. I love La Ventana because the wind is great, the water is great, the people are great, the community, everybody's there doing kiting, windsurfing, or winging. And if you're not there for that, I don't know why you're there. Maybe fishing. Um, I've also been to some interesting places. I went on a family trip with the girls. My mom is Italian, and my family is mostly in Rome on my mom's side. And I took my daughter and my mom, and we all went to Italy, and we got a place in Florence, which I realized was not that far from Lake Garda. And if you've seen
Nice.
videos of wing races and all these cool things, Lake Garda is the place to go. So I left them in Florence, and it took me seriously planes, trains, and automobiles to get to this lake. Without a car, it is crazy to get there. And I took trains and buses and a cab and get there to this place, and I rented gear and I stayed for 4 days.
Oh,
And that was
nice.
a cool place to go.
That's
Also, just
awesome.
great small community. Everybody was really nice and super helpful, but also the wind. It's like this Venturi effect through these mountains, and the wind in the morning is going one direction, and in the after then it stops. You get your session in, and then the wind stops, and then it's going the other direction completely.
Wow.
It's so wild.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a very cool place. And then, of course, Hood River, like you can't hate Hood River.
Yeah.
It's one of the best places in the world to go. And then another fun place is in Quebec. There's a place called Baie de Beauport in Quebec City, just outside of Quebec City, which does not have awesome wind, but it has awesome people and it has wind and it has the conditions are there. And because the city puts so much, the city supports the windsurfing. They put up a clubhouse for the kiters, wingers, windsurfers, whatever. They put up a
Oh,
clubhouse. There's a shower. There's lockers. There's everything's right there at the water. There's parking specifically for us. You know, it's I've never been to a place Hood River a little bit, but I've never been to a place that put as much where the town itself put that much effort into supporting the water and wind sports.
yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Maybe they have some people in leadership there that are into it. You know, maybe that's what we need to do as communities. We need to get more involved in local, our a local. Well, we are involved in local, with some local efforts here, but I think as the sport grows, we might see more of that too.
I
And
hope so. I
yeah,
mean, imagine if at that Lake Pleasant that you went to, if there had been a spot where you could go and had shade, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
or Lake Mojave, where there was a spot where there's actually like a big shaded area with maybe
yeah.
some uh, carpeting or you know, the fake grass, some astroturf to lay out your stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
just a simple thing like that. How cool would
Right.
that be?
Yeah. Okay, so we got to keep our, if you guys have ideas when you watch the replay, put in the comment in the YouTube comments so everyone can see it no matter where we post it, and maybe things that your community has done for the to make these kind of things happen, and then share it with us so that we can duplicate that in other places and get inspired.
Sure.
So.
How did you get it done? Yeah.
Yes. So how does being on the water make you feel? Like, what's the best part for you?
Focused.
Focused. Yeah.
Focused. Yeah. I'm everything kind of goes away, right? You're just
Hmm.
in the moment more than at any other time.
Yeah.
You're just out there. I mean, I get out there and sometimes I sing, but usually
I
I'm
love
just mostly like at the top of my lungs. But mostly it's just I'm focused in a way that is sort of I'm not concentrating. I'm
Yeah.
not sitting there going, ooh, how do I do this? Ooh, here comes a swell. Let me move my foot in this certain way. It's not like that. It's a full body. It's like kind of like breathing. You don't really think about how am I going to take this air, and you don't think about how I'm going to pull this air into my lungs.
Hmm.
If you're short of breath, you're going to pull more air into your lungs, but you don't think about it. It's just a full body experience. And it's
Yeah.
the same thing with being on the water. And I find that things that are hurting me physically as I'm getting older don't hurt when I'm on the water, including things that could hurt when I'm on the water. Like I don't have an ACL and sometimes my
Mhm.
knee gets funky. But when I'm on the water, I never feel it.
I
I just
know.
don't.
I noticed that too. It's that's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. Everyone has like a little bit different twist on this,
Mhm.
and I think we get to have our own experience, and it's very special. So, what is your consistency level for getting on the water, and what might be getting in the way?
Yeah, so for me it's feast or famine. Um, I I have all summer long at Sherman Island because we have an RV right there, steps from the water. Uh, and then I come home to Arizona, where I live about an hour from the lake. And the wind, it does get windy. I mean, we have a community of windsurfers and
But it's
not so much
so
kiters.
early in the morning. Is that the
Early in
lake
the
I
morning in
went
the
to?
winter.
You
Winters.
like you have to get up at 5 and then
Oh, yeah.
right or something.
If I get up at 5, I'm gonna have missed the best win because I got to drive an hour. Takes my it you know then you gotta get your spot and you gotta gear up. Now it's pretty easy and quick to gear up for winging, but still, yeah. But that's only the winter and it's really cold. In the summer, the wind is usually in the afternoon. But I've got a daughter here. I've got a life here, work.
Hmm.
Things here make it really difficult And I have other things that I do here. I'm in a band and I play a lot of music and I do, so I have, when I'm here, I'm doing my here stuff. When
Awesome.
I'm there, so when I'm in Arizona, I'm not in the water almost at all. I came home on July 31st and I did not get in the water again until December 17th when I went down to Mexico.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
then
I
I have
guess
2 weeks of every day. And then I come home and then there's nothing. My husband will go here. He'll make the time. But like I said, I've got other stuff going on. And then I'll go back down to Mexico at the end of this month for another 2 weeks by myself.
Mhm.
And I'll get all those days in. And then I won't be in the water probably again until the summer.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a nice schedule because sometimes we do need to focus on other things and,
Yeah.
maybe family and friends and
Yeah.
the people that don't wing or whatever. Um, how, so if you had a magic wand, how would your day look like? Like a perfect day? What would you like more of or less of?
Oh gosh. I mean, in terms of winging, in terms of
Just
just
anything. Just like
oh,
if I
perfect
were
day.
to
Okay.
say, Mandy, you can have whatever day you
Sure.
want. How does it feel like to be there, and what is it,
Right.
or what does it
See, I
look
don't
like?
need a magic wand. I just need Mexico or Sherman Island. I mean, seriously, we work from home. So in the morning I get up. I'm in no major rush. Get up, walk the dogs, make breakfast. I work. I guess in my perfect magic wand world, instead of spending the morning working, I'd spend the morning on my guitar, and then soon, then have a little lunch, watch the wind come up, and say, okay, time to go and spend 2-3 hours out on the water. In the magic wand world, I can do 3 hours, no problem. In my real life, 2 hours is a good amount of time. Um, and then come off the water, have a bite to eat, hang out with my friends, make music in the evening or watch the sunset like we do. And Baja midnight, I'm in bed, and that's great.
That's wonderful.
Honestly, I pretty much don't need a magic wand. I pretty much have it when we're down, when we're by the water. That's pretty much it's pretty much
That's
perfect. Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So what are like understanding the nature of this sport and we probably all had to adjust. And do you feel like you've adjusted your life around I mean, you already telling me about your trips and your obviously
Yeah.
those have to be planned, but anything you want to add to that as far
Well,
as
yeah. I
making
mean,
winging happen?
things have changed since we got obsessed with with the water sports. We used to travel differently. We used to go to Quebec every summer. We'd go there. There's a big music festival. We'd go there for the big music festival. We would do our windsurfing. We'd have a few days on, a few days off, but it wasn't the primary thing happening in our lives. It was something that we did and we loved.
Yeah.
Um, but we would go, and we have family in Quebec, so we would spend time with them. And then we would go to Washington and spend time with family in Washington and spend time with family and friends in LA and in Marin. And you would just travel more and do more things. Now it's like the day she's done with school, the day Coco is done with school, we're on our way to Sherman Island. We spend the whole summer at the side. We're the day Christmas vacation starts, we're on our way to Mexico, and there's no room for other stuff unless we can get those people to come to us
Yeah.
where we are because we're totally obsessed, you know?
I
So
love it.
it definitely has changed our lives. Um, and that's going to change again when Coco goes off to school. She goes off to college in the fall. And so we won't have to stuff all of our winging, or in Steph's case, windsurfoiling, on during her vacations. We'll be able to do it all around that,
Yeah.
right? And then when she has vacations, what do you want to do, babe? We'll go do what you want to do. It's like she's kind of been stuck going to La Ventana. She's not a water sports kid, and she's been stuck going to Mexico for Christmas every year for the last few years. And there's other things she'd rather do,
Yeah.
So we'll go do those things. But yeah, we've definitely become a lot more focused, and
That's
our holidays have become a lot more sort of one dimensional, really, I guess.
yes, I love it. So what are some of your favorite takeaways from being part of the water sport community?
One of the coolest things that's happened is that as Steph and I have progressed in our um and with our skills, is that we do this thing together. It's just great for our marriage. Anytime, you play together, you stay together, right? There's that little
Right.
sort of saying, but I really do believe it. And we're we're on the water together, and we do this thing called dancing, and we have learned. And let me just tell you something: if you're trying to learn how to jibe with somebody else right smack in front of you. Learn how to do it while you're timing with somebody else, because you have no time to think about, oh, did I move my foot right? It's like, no, you better freaking turn fast because they're turning fast. And boy, will that up your skill level quick. So we do this thing where we sail together. He's on his windsurf foil board and I'm on my wing, and we try to turn constantly together, right? Ride the swell or whatever
That's
we're doing, but we
awesome.
try to do. And it's been really cool. It forces you to trust each other, right? You got to communicate. You've got to trust that the other person is not going to kill you if I'm right smack into you. They're going to abandon ship if they need to, and you're going to abandon ship if you need to. Um, but it's so much fun to do together. It's so, winging, windsurfing, any of those sports, even though you're surrounded by other people doing them, you're very much independent. You're very much on your own when you're out there, right?
Right.
If something were to happen, you hopefully somebody sees that something happened and can come and help you. But you're on your own. You're out there and you're on your own. And us being able to be out there together and so close to each other, sailing so close that we can have conversations, um, is exciting and fun and just really good for us,
Yes.
just
That
good
that
for.
makes it. It sounds like you might be ready for competitions when she goes
Oh,
off to college.
I don't know that anybody else. You used to see Greg Glazier and her name escapes me, and I adore her, and I can't. I hate that I can't think of her name right now. In Sherman Island, the two of them were windsurf foiling together. Emily, Emily, the two of them would windsurf foil together, and they would do it very much like clockwork. It's so cool because they were just exactly, and their skill set is a bazillion miles above what we're trying to do. But that was kind of inspiring to us, watching them do this tandem thing. But I don't know of anybody else. I guess there used to be the Finn brothers, I think was it Finn? Maybe that wasn't Spencer. Finn I can't remember. These two kids in Hawaii that would wing together and they would do flips at the same time. But
Yeah.
honestly, like aside from that, there's not a lot of people that I've seen that are doing this sort of tandemy stuff. And I think they're missing out because it's so much fun, you
Yeah.
know? But you
Maybe
have to
we,
have space. You have to have
yeah,
space to do it.
right.
And we can't do it very well in Mexico because there's the swell doesn't let you. No swell is the same. So if you don't get on the exact same wave, you just, it's very hard to be exactly in the same spot. Sherman Island
Right.
is a way better spot for it. But
Yeah.
yeah, anyway,
Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think we're going to have a photo with this video that shows us some of that. And it just makes me happy to see you guys out there together and not, the photo, or real life. It's very special what you have.
it's
Um,
fun.
yeah. So has learning to wing helped you feel like in other areas of your life, like learning a new sport like that and how, if so?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I was thinking about this. You know, when you when you learn something new, how do I put this? It's always fun to be a beginner at anything. Okay, in my experience, I love being a beginner because as a beginner, you're not, there's no expectations, right? When you're a beginner, you have no expectations. You get up, you fall, you get up, you fall, you get up. Maybe you're the kind of person that gets mad at yourself when you fall, but I'm not. I'm the type of person that says, I'm a beginner. I'm supposed to be messing up. It's not until I'm sort of intermediate that I start getting annoyed with myself, right? Because now I should be better. I should be better. I should be able to do that. But being a beginner is great. Um, but aside from that, I can credit that I got into winging in my 50s with the courage to start playing the bass guitar
Mm,
at 54, right? I just decided, hey, my daughter's taking these classes and she's doing this kind of jam band with the kids that she's doing these classes with. And how fun is that? And guess what? They have an adult program. And I want to do something like that. I want to play music with other people. Steph has always played guitar beautifully. Um, so I decided at 54 that I was going to go and learn how to play the bass guitar. And I joined this little jam kind of band thing that's part of the course. You could do it or not. And we started playing live shows sometimes, at the end of a season. You'd learn all these songs together and then you'd start playing shows. And then I had some friends who were starting a band. These guys are a lot more experienced than me. And they asked me to join their band with them. And now like we
Fun.
play out in bars and stuff. And that would never have happened. I don't think that would have happened. I don't think I would have had the courage to do that at that age had I not already started winging at 50 or windsurfing at 50, I guess. Windsurfing. It definitely opened my mind up to the idea that there is no limit to when you can start stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And so I love that. Yeah. So I'm thinking about in response to that, I'm thinking about things that I still want to learn.
Yeah.
And and I'm sure that those who are watching this recording are just thinking the same thing. So, like, please add things in the comments you'd like to learn. I was going to ask you about that, by the way, Mandy. What do you do in the band? And maybe we'll put the link to your some of your work.
You can link to our Instagram page. It's Don't Tell Mandy is the name of the band. I did not choose that name. I got to tell you, I did not choose that. Don't Tell Mandy Official is the Instagram page.
That's great.
Um, and I think we have a Facebook page. But, we're just adults,
Yeah.
grown adults who have kids and have families and have full-time jobs who get together. We play music and we
Fun.
play local places, and we have
Yeah.
a couple of songs on Spotify, so like or even Apple Music. So if you look up "Don't Tell Mandy," you can hear a couple of our original things. But it's just fun. It's not like we're trying to get we're gonna make it big and start touring. It's not like that. We're just having fun.
I think
Um,
that's
you
the
know,
best way I feel like to get into anything is when there's not when you keep it in the phone zone and there's no pressure like that. So
yeah, yeah.
thank you.
And when you have community, I think none of it works unless you've got
Right.
people around you who are loving, who love the same things
Yeah.
and share the same excitement
Hmm.
and have this sort of youthful appreciation for how lucky we are. How lucky
Yeah.
we are that we get to do this stuff.
I know.
It's
I love that positivity. So
mhm.
thank you so much, Mandy. This was wonderful,
Oh,
and we will see you live soon.